Quite a portal weekend, fellas. This is IT Live. It's brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm joined as always on Mondays by Coach Dub and Eric Nalin. We're going to talk about what just happened and then how do we finish strong. But first, head over to Inside Texas, guys. 50% off right now for the Ultimate Fan Bundle. You'll get Inside Texas, our website, On 3 for national football recruit or football news, and then Rivals for the recruiting side. So come join. And of course, Eric keeps dropping notes like a madman, real sicko over there. Okay, let's talk about the recent additions. We get Biles. Did we get Biles Friday night, Coach? Is that when we did the video?
Yeah.
Friday night. Nice Friday evening surprise. Followed by Cam and Hollywood Smothers. Back-to-backer. Let's talk Biles first. So I've been tape studying him. We have a video coming out. I was telling them before the show, I think he's the best addition of all of them so far. I mean, I think he's a really special player. He's awesome. And just the playmaking ability he has, you'll see it on some tape. But this guy's forces fumbles, has several pick sixes, really incredible in coverage. And like his pick six, I'll show you, it's not like he was just standing there and dumb quarterback threw it to him. He's looking, he sees someone's cutting back behind him, runs over there and picks it. Incredible awareness, has that safety range and movement, incredibly long arms. His tackling style is really funny. He's not like a run up and hug you tackler. It's kind of like, I can't describe it. It's like a spider, like with their legs, I'll reach out. So he like runs with his long arm out and then he snags you and then he'll immediately contort his body around you. So really fun hit style. So he'll hit you hard, but in a unique way. And just really aware and elusive in gaps. He's not going to be like the guy that wants to run up and smack faces with a guard. He's more shifty, like a back, how he moves throughout. Really good, just kind of across the board, man. And Muschamp on third down will absolutely love this guy because you don't know where he could be. Is he going to drop back? Is he going to sack you? And then he makes big plays. So to me, I'm most excited actually about Biles, which is crazy. He's talking about all the offensive talent we had. But y'all's thoughts on Biles?
Hey, look, that interception you're talking about, that's like combine teach tape where they're going to drill, turn left, turn right, and he makes a play on the football like a safety, like a DB. So you're absolutely right, man. That's an incredible player, man. I guarantee he probably played running back or something. He was an athlete. He probably played offense in high school. Like you can just see the ball skills once he catches it. Like you can see him holding up one hand, he's high stepping. Like that's a total athlete playing linebacker. I love the Biles pickup, man. He can do so much. Like you said on third down, can you imagine him dropping in the seam on Tampa too, and then confusing a quarterback and then picking it off, taking it to the house? Like you can do so much with this guy. He's gonna be able to cover so many.
It's like you don't need dime.
No,
you don't need dime personnel because that would take your will out. So you don't need it because he can play it. So it's like the positional and scheme versatility this guy offers too is remarkable.
You know, Eric always says something about a big nickel. Like he can slide out and play big nickel in certain situations too. So it's like perfect. You don't have to take this guy off the field at all.
Yeah. Eric, you feeling good, man? We're not done. We're not done at linebacker, by the way, with your smirk. But we got the first part done really well there.
Well, yeah, you guys are talking about dime. You can have the need to not go with dime. You can have Ty Anthony at Mike or vice versa, Biles at Will, and you are really, really athletic. Remember, they didn't have to take Ty Anthony off the field a lot.
Yeah.
They kept him on a nickel and used him as a dime. So yeah, it's a very athletic guy. I didn't really have a chance to watch him until after he committed, and I was blown away by how good he was. I was like, geez, man, guys, Michigan let this guy leave their campus. So now, everybody wants to know what's going to happen next. Texas still needs a Mike. Cade Uluave is out there. EJ Holland put in a prediction for Michigan to get him. EJ thought beforehand that Texas would split Uluave and Biles, and once Biles committed to Texas, he just did process of elimination there. Texas is still in it for the Cal linebacker, but they're looking at other guys, and I think they're still waiting to see if anybody interesting comes in through the portal. They've got a plan there, as typical with Texas. It requires a little bit of patience to watch it unfold. Uluave is still a player to know at Mike. But Biles is sensational. Ty Anthony's already on the way up. I mean, the last time we saw Ty Anthony, he had 2 picks, right?
Yeah.
So that's, 2 athletic guys that Muschamp can do a lot with, but I still think they need that plugger with that big old butt in the middle. Bo Barnes is gone. Juice Cryer, they brought him in. Obviously, a guy that's got experience and can play, but I think they're still looking at the position for a bigger, more experienced Mike.
What's the final day someone can enter the portal, not join a team, but be in the portal?
Friday, the 16th. They're in a dead period today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, which means no visits. I'm going to catch my breath a little bit.
Yeah.
And then visits will fire right back up. The last day for Texas to get somebody for spring semester, which is important because you want them to go through spring football.
Yeah.
28th. That's the last day they can enroll in classes. And so, the portal closes for as far as entry goes outside of the national championship participants. And then we're still going to have visits and all kinds of recruiting going on up until the 28th.
So even though the portal closes, there's no spring portal window as you can enter. Will guys still just stay in the portal through the whole year?
Guys will be in the portal. Guys will remain at their school, going to classes, and then people are going to be recruiting. The portal. We're not going to be done with the portal until summer.
Yeah.
Until the early summer, because Texas right now is going after the guys that are not fungible. The guys that will make immediate difference, stars, studs, immediate starters or depth. And then after that kind of settles, which you would probably think after the 28th or so, maybe even before then, they're going to start looking at all the guys that didn't get picked up that are still available. And a lot of those guys are more fungible. So that's where an evaluation becomes extremely important. You're going to have to find, there's going to be some jewels in there. There's going to be some NFL players in that giant, massive humanity. There's going to be, 4,000 or 5,000 people in the portal still. So that's when Texas is going to really hunker down, look at the tape, take a deep dive on what's available. And then we're going to see how well they evaluate. That's where the value is going to be.
Cool. Yeah. So just for fans, just to be clear, there is no second portal window after spring. The guys that enter the portal now will just stay in until after. So more guys won't come in, but you can still pick up after spring ball.
So, hey, some will never play again. They went in and never come out. It just, a lot of people left a good thing. Some got bad advice, and it's going to be sad. But there's still going to be a lot of good football players. Dorks like us are going to have fun going over their tape. But first things first. What does Texas need on the 29th? That's going to tell us a lot about what they'll continue to evaluate. But they'll have most of their needs addressed. I know everybody's asking about offensive line. We've got a question right there. Of course, we believe Sark needs more offensive line, but that's going to have to be addressed outside of depth pieces. That's going to have to be addressed in the next 16 days.
Yeah, well, Utah Horn, I see your comment. I just want to make sure it fits because we're about to talk running back, so I'll bring it up there for you. I'm not going to forget you, man. All right, so before we talk Cam, because Cam I'm sure will be a big piece. Smothers, land him right after he commits to Alabama, but I guess nothing signed, right?
Right.
And then he heads over to us, which is awesome. And so I was watching his tape more in depth last night, and he's a dynamic kind of shifty back, but he's a running back. Like the dude, for being small, he gets yards after contact. He makes people miss, but he runs through tackles as well. He's been sound. I've been really impressed with his vision. He has a lot of who's the Miami receiver that was just killing people on screens? Tony.
Yeah.
That kind of like get the ball in space and calculate all that very quickly. He has that kind of ability when he's running through the middle. I'm really excited about him as well, man. It's not just purely like, a speed back or something like that. It's a real running back with explosiveness.
Yeah, I love Smothers' game. I watched some of his highlights again this morning, man. How he kind of hides behind the line. He's patient, but once he sees it, he hits the crease and it's gone.
Yeah.
There's probably not many people who can catch him once he does that. And how many running backs have we had, I guess recently that can do that? Like he can stick his foot in the ground, get north and south, and make somebody miss in the open field. Like if the play is designed to get 4 or 5, he might turn into a 15, 20-yard game, which you've been missing. You pair him up with Raleek Brown, man, you got 21 personnel. You can do so much for both of those guys and not have to, change who you want to be on offense, right? And so you don't have to. You can stand on. You don't have to have a tight end on the field if you don't want to, right? You can have 3 receivers with these 2 in the backfield, motion one out. I'm excited, man. I'm just want to draw plays myself. Like you just look at it like it's like Madden or NCAA. Like you got creative players that you can do stuff with.
2 back is back. Remember how fun Sark would be with like diamond formation when he had like Keelan and everybody together? Like that's back on the table for Sark. And those holes open up versus Texas. Like we're not known for constant success rate grindy, but there's always 3, 4, 5 times a game where the seas part and it's there if you're fast enough. And these guys are fast enough. So you're going to introduce that back into the game. Raleek too. Raleek he makes people make decisions by getting on their toes. And so he runs up on them and then he'll flat foot and then he'll go, but you have to make a decision. You're going to be wrong, by the way, because he's going to do whatever the opposite of you do it. But he forces guys like Poker to a decision. So I think both of those backs are going to be really dynamic for us and important. And when it's there, they're going to be able to add. And what I noticed with Smothers too is Smothers keeps going forward. Once you touch him, he's going to pick up an extra 3. And often because he's going at such a fast speed, even when you do hit him, he's able to kind of keep it going. So that's a big factor. All righty. I want to pull up this question first, Eric. So when we talked running backs, we had Clark head out. First things first, what's the latest on Clark?
Going to the portal. Texas, had a very competitive or very good offer, I think. Based on he had one game. I think we always knew he's talented before that breakout game, but he's only done it one game. So some guys want to get paid for what they think they're worth. Some guys think they should get paid for what they've done. And he wants to go. He's going to have plenty of suitors. That game tape was good, but onward, they're going to find. They're either find another player out of the portal, a bigger back that brings a little bit more size. I know that, sometimes that can be overrated, but I think it's also nice to wear opponents down in the fourth quarter. Maybe a little bit more experience depth too. They'll still be looking, but I know they still like James Simon, and there's also a lot of talk about Derek Cooper. So, they've got bodies there. And then Michael Terry, somebody brought up Michael Terry earlier. Haven't heard what they're going to do with Michael Terry, but that's always an option to put him back there in emergency if they need to.
By the way, Eric, Michael Bennett just committed to Oregon.
Damn it.
Yeah, no, I liked him, man. So he was the Yale offensive lineman, really good feet. Of course, Yale, smart. So he just went to Oregon, he's one of our targets and a guy we've been watching.
I want to find out where Oregon sees him because Texas, I'm not saying they sold him on being an interior guy, but that was probably the plan for him was to go.
I was thinking about it too, is like he needs to be interior. And if Oregon's able to get him at tackle, then it's kind of that thing. But just so you guys know, I was kind of looking at that. I want to make sure. Did we talk the third down back pass blocking world in RBs? Because that's something I think we're missing. So if you watch Raleek and Smothers, they're not pass blockers. And Smothers almost has never asked to pass block. He's fast to the flats almost every play. So with losing Clark, can you get just a functional, I don't care if he's from your local park, but just like a third running back, or are the coaches feel confident they can get a younger guy to do that role? But I do see that as the one hole in the running back room right now is pass block.
Both options are on the table. Yeah, like I said, they were okay with letting Clark go because they have confidence they can develop the 2 younger guys, but B, they're also still looking at the portal to see what's out there. Jacoby Jackson from Florida. I'm surprised the market has been what it has been for him, but obviously he's got ties to Jabbar Jaluk. They're quite close. So there's always a chance they bring in Jackson or somebody like him, but they're also content with, sticking with what they have. So it's on the table, but it's not a pressing need like Mike linebacker, offensive line, stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you think Sark needs some more O-line? Well, yeah, absolutely. There's no question we need some more O-line coming in. One of those targets was Bennett. And then who's the other one? Is it Bruner?
Brunner didn't commit to Indiana, which might be a small victory. He's still has dialogue with Texas, which, that could be him just trying to create some leverage with himself for Indiana. I'm not entirely sure, but he still has contact with UT. That'd be an awesome get. They don't seem to be super optimistic on it. Let's just see that there's going to be some names that enter the portal this week that I think are going to be pretty obvious guys that Texas should go after.
Yep, the Ole Miss guy.
I'm not even hearing a whole lot of buzz about that. I mean, obviously he's on the board. He's somebody to know. Delano Townsend started for Ole Miss. Yeah, I mean, he could start on a semifinal team. Play away from playing for it all, and so obviously he could play at Texas. But it's not like he's a foregone conclusion to UT or anything like that. They're still weighing their options. They're not pressing yet. They've got a plan. They're sticking to it, and I don't think there's a person alive that could predict their starting 5 next year. Maybe not even any of the starting 5.
I tried in the group chat. It's not an easy task because the options I don't think have materialized yet to even know, but.
Correct. The plan is every bit as grand at offensive line, maybe even more so than what we've seen at other positions. Fans just need to sit tight.
Yeah. And Sark definitely bought himself some time after this weekend.
Yeah.
Who's going to be our go-to back between the tackles? Smothers? So Both of them will bounce it outside because whenever the interior gets clogged, they have the ability to bounce it outside, which is going to give you highlight reels and stuff like that. But I would say generally probably Smothers. But I see it as a 1-2 tandem. I want to be weary of like naming someone RB2 in this situation. So it's like, but probably Smothers just because he has a little bit more yak to him, yards after contact. And Raleek was more of a pure breakaway runner, meaning make you miss and then go. So I'd probably say Smothers right now. And he has Smothers has the strongest vision so far too.
Yeah, I think the red zone back is going to be number 16.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, people were like, well, how are we going to get our power runs? It's like our Arch Manning. It's going to be our interior runner. All right. Seems like Brown and Smothers do their best work outside the tackles. Yeah, they're speed guys, but a lot of times those highlights, when you're seeing a bounce out, they are interior runs. It's just not there.
Right.
But Smothers does a really good job with that because I watch like a hawk, like all the highlights coming from outside, and I watch Smothers' actual tape, and it's not all coming from outside.
You know, Derek Cooper, they are more optimistic on his readiness as a true freshman than I have been. And if you watch his highlights, damn near every play starts inside the hashes and ends inside the hashes. He's coming downhill.
Yeah. How big is he?
I've seen him listed at 195. That seems outdated. He's got to be about 205, and he looks like he'll be a fast responder to strength and conditioning. But here's the thing: he runs with so much downhill velocity that adds a lot of power to.
He runs like this.
Yeah, he runs kind of funny in the open field. It looks like he's like galloping himself, or like
yeah. But hey, if you can get him going fast and then figure out Michael Terry role, that'd be awesome.
James Simon has really good attributes to run inside and outside. So
I keep forgetting about James Simon. I don't know why.
They just got to get him cooking because he does have the ability to go inside outside. He has a little bit of a Christian Clark type of game to him.
Yeah, I think he's a really well-rounded. I don't know why I keep forgetting about him. I need to stop doing that. All right, Quentin, what's up, dude? We need a safety and a catching tight end. What say you? It'd be nice, but I don't know priorities-wise where we're at with that.
Safety. I mean, Derek Williams was your safety there. That wasn't free. Receiving tight end, I think is Nick Townsend and Emery Winston. They love both those guys, so I don't really think they needed catching tight end. Masunis is perfectly credible as a receiver too. You're not gonna mistake him for prime Gronk or anything. But he can make plays created by the space that Sark just knows how to draw up. So I think Nick Townsend, you didn't see him much as a receiver this year because he got to school so late, and that's a lot to put on his plate. So what they did is they just had him focus on being a hammer, and he was good at that, got better at that over time. He was just swinging wildly early on. So he's still going to have those hammer elements, but also I think we're going to see him leak out to space a little bit. He is a little bit stiffer of a receiver than it's not Jatavian Sanders in that regard, but he's an athlete. He's a potential yak monster on some of these easy dump offs and in the flats. And then Winston, I think, is easily the most natural receiver at the position. He's got really good hands, does a really good job, really strong hands, catches away from his body, is a fluid mover. So I think they're in a good spot, actually.
Yeah, actually develop that spot. We don't. I get it, Quentin, because we don't have like Helm lined up in the slot type style. But
Right.
as Eric said, Sark will scheme. Masunis is not fast, so it's not like he's going to catch it and go for 40. But they can scheme him wide open. Try to get. And Nick Townsend is verified faster than any tight end we've had in a long time.
Yeah,
He does have the speed you're looking for. It's just, can he line up in the slot? And then Eric, the big key, like he said, is Winston's development, because he was also really good at finding zones and stuff from our reports. So it's not 100% clear, but it could still come to fruition.
Yeah, not to put pressure on Winston, man, but he really just reminds me of Antonio Gates. The way he builds, the way he moves, like it's smooth. It doesn't look like he's running fast, but he's just so silky smooth, and like he finds open space and he has soft hands, and so he's gonna catch it pretty much every single time, man. I like him a lot.
Yeah. Don't sleep on Winston.
You mentioned a BPA though, potentially in the secondary, Eric. Could that BPA be a safety?
Well, it could be a BPA if he's a BPA, right? Best player
Yeah, but I didn't know
available.
if you meant like, are they really just going to, if it's a BPA corner? But to me, if you take a BPA, I'd like it to actually be a safety. I feel pretty good about the corners, unless the nickel position, which you can talk about, someone might leave.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it all plays out. I think they've got two irons in the fire, and they're two entirely different players. And if they materialize, they'll throw their hat in the ring. It'll be difficult. But yeah, they're just they're being really greedy right now, which I think they should be. Somebody asked up how who's the starting DBs would be, and that's a tough guess right now. Cade Phillips. You see, here's the problem: we don't really know what they're going to do with Grayson Littleton yet. And we're not 100% sure Wardell Mack is coming back. We've heard he's back. We've heard he's leaving. He's back. Right now, we're back on the seesaw of him probably at least looking around or entertaining that. So what do they do with Grayson Littleton is going to tell us a lot. I feel extremely strongly that Cade Phillips is going to start at one corner. They just brought in Masco, who's got a lot of experience going up against high-level talent. Kobe Black came back. Don't forget about Warren Roberson, who was probably ahead of Kobe Black until that A&M game. So they've got a whole lot of bodies to figure it out. Competition is going to be really, really strong in the secondary this year. Your starting safeties are obviously going to be Jelani McDonald and Derek Williams. There's no doubt about that. But we still have to figure out what's going to happen at nickel. I tend to think Wardell can win it, and they can put Grayson out at corner and just rotate the hell out of the corners all year long. I'm curious what they do with Kobe. I would love to see Kobe go over there at nickel. With Wardell, Kobe giving them a little bit bigger physical presence. Wardell's physical, don't get me wrong, but that nickel has to be a little bit different than how they used it in the past, especially depending on what defensive look they're in. So I think they could use Black there. But Kobe came back, and it wasn't like he didn't really test the waters. It was weird. It was I think he just went in, or he thought he was going to go in, had regrets, and said, you know what, let's not add any risk to this. Last time I hit the field, I've been playing well. So I'm curious as everybody else. I just know they have a ton of pieces to work with, especially at corner and nickel.
But even with Mac leaving, I still feel comfortable. Because I say if Littleton wants to remain at nickel, then I think Masco's a good cover corner. Then Cade we think has a future. So I think you can start Masco, Cade, and Littleton, and I feel really confident. That's why it's the corner nickel stuff doesn't bother me at all. It's just potential safety depth or pass coverage depth.
It's just getting the guys in the right position. They all have the versatility. Are they the best guy for that position? Cade's a pure corner. He's not going anywhere. Right. Masco to me is a pure corner. Grayson Littleton is a pure corner, but he's also he's just a pure DB, right? So he can do whatever you want. So that it might work out that way. But Kobe Black is important to me because I do think probably playing inside would be better for him. Doesn't have to carry as vertical as often. Can play, in the flats. He's physical. So I'm curious to see how it all works out. I'm sure they've got a pretty good idea in their mind. We just haven't heard about it yet. We will though.
Yeah. Yeah. And Muschamp's scheme is going to be a lot of fun. Getting Derek Williams back was really, really big. We had Gibson running downhill. Why no Hope and Coop?
I mean, I'm not saying no Hope and Coop. I love that guy. He's, had some of the most entertaining film I've seen in a long time. He's a pure football athlete. Gibson was more of Gibson has a million reps playing running back. The guy has been playing running back his whole life. Has really natural feet and balance for it. Cooper, I want to get a better understanding of him, setting up his blockers, running with that feel. If it's there, he's going to hit it, and it's going to look beautiful and violent and all that stuff. But a lot of running back plays are made when it's not. It's a muddied picture, and I haven't really seen the feet and the vision tied together to him really make something happen when it's not there. That's going to have to be developed on campus. I think he's going to have to get a much better feel for zone running. He just needs a little bit more development as a running back, as a football athlete. Man, you'd be hard pressed to find a better one.
Yeah, look, I'm not comparing him to Adrian Peterson or anything like that, but even they had to bring him along slow, right, when he was at Oklahoma. I only say that because he has a similar build and he can take off like him.
No, I just love how we have to couch everything because really we're just talking like we always are. I'm not saying it's him.
He said he was Adrian Peterson, yeah. But you give him maybe 10 to 15 carries and find out what he does best and what he's good at early. Right. And he may break one. It's like, you know what, this is your role for the season. And you can add on as you go. But let's see what he looks like first. Give him a chance, right? And then, see what he does best and then kind of build from there.
Yeah, we're going to hear a lot about him in the spring. I'll revise my thoughts as I do on everybody with new data. That's just my read on him as a running back.
Yeah.
Is he as natural as James Simon? Well, James Simon wasn't all that ready to play as a true freshman. I would say no, he's not as a natural running back as James Simon. So, but I mean, if you know, if you're up 10 or, 13 and you're trying to close out a game in the fourth quarter and you're starting to lean on him and the defense is tired, he might be perfect for that, to just come in and run downhill, get 4 a pop.
Yeah. All right, guys, before we keep going, a very quick word from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Fast one.
Same-day delivery powered by DoorDash.
Super fast, like that delivery.
Yeah.
Okay, let me make sure the chats are good here. All right, we got some Jonah stuff. Okay. I understand the baseball aspect being a factor, but Jonah is still a 5-star that nobody seems to be talking about at one of the safety positions. Is there a reason that I might be missing something?
I think the baseball stuff is both overblown and maybe underblown. It's not going to affect whether or not that guy plays for 10 years in the NFL and makes $100 million, if that's the path he chooses. But it could affect how quickly he is ready to play at Texas, especially with Derek Williams coming back. Derek has a lot of experience. Derek's going to be champing at the bit because he felt like he had more to offer this season than the opportunity he got. Look how we're talking about it already. Xavier Filsaime was ahead of Derek Williams this year, and right now we're not even talking about Filsaime as a returning starter, because I think we all know that there was something weird with Aquina and Williams that kept Williams from playing. Williams is going to play this year. Almost assuredly is going to be your starter. Filsaime is a very interesting prospect still. A little bit raw. We knew that. Probably shouldn't have seen him as much this year as we did, but still an exciting prospect. And then, Jonah is going to get a little bit behind. It's a brand new scheme. They're running different coverages, and he's not going to have spring ball like everybody else. So I'm not worried about him long term, but you do worry about bang for your buck as far as, is he really a 5-star right this minute? No. Is he going to become a 5-star? Is he going to play like one eventually? Assuredly.
I mean, he damn looks like one. Every time he's on the field, you're like, who the hell is that? But the problem is, and Ian talks about this perfectly, and we say it's a reps position. So if Jonah was a corner, I'd feel a lot better, because that's just a lot about one-on-one athleticism. Yeah. You can work your corner drills in your front yard to get your technique. Safety they need to see reps. So they need to be grinding the film, but they need to understand it's a different style. So even a 5-star at safety is different than a young 5-star at corner. And that's what I worry about with a new scheme, not at practice during the spring. There's no issues with his athleticism. It's just you need to see a lot and be learning a lot. Maybe he grinds tape when he goes home from baseball practice. I don't know. But
no, he does. He does. He's a football player. He is. And it's not the longest curve guy of all time. It is that, hey, baseball does occupy his time. He's a football player. There's no doubt about it. That's why I'm not worried about him long term. Can you bring up this last comment? Because we can't overstate this one enough.
The star rating?
Yeah.
We use the star rating too much post-signing.
Yes, I'm in this line of work, and I cannot agree with this more. I say it all the time. Throw the stars out the window. I don't want to hear about how Sark didn't use 5-star wide receivers this year. First of all, there was only one, Khalid Lockett. Second of all, Ryan Wingo was one the year before, if you want to really get down in the star rating, or he was very close to it. So it doesn't matter after signing. It gives a broad idea of what's on the roster. It's a good way to evaluate the roster on a macro level. But it doesn't really matter once they're in the program. What really matters is what we hear about as far as their trend line. Last year, who did we hear about? Grayson Littleton.
Yep.
Could Grayson have been a 5-star? Well, man, he was on campus about 5 minutes before we were talking about him. There's a couple other guys too. I'm trying to think. Emery Winston was one we talked about a lot. But it's once they get on campus, everything switches, because now how fast are they processing? How fast are they mature? Are they acclimating to college life and embracing the grind? Some of these guys get to college and might not be the program guys that they're eventually going to be. Sometimes young guys have to assimilate, like any 18-year-old going off to a giant, fun, unique place for the first time. They lose focus a little bit. So how do they arrive? What we'll tell you about within the first 2 or 3 months, we're going to have a very good idea of what to expect from the freshmen for the 2026 season.
Yeah, McCutcheon.
I'm in agreement with that one. I'm in agreement with that. Once you get to campus, star ranking's over with, right? It's about everything you do on campus going on. Like so many kids carry that 5-star ranking. You see them in the portal. People continue to take them from the portal because they're still holding on to the high school rank, but they've never produced on the field and did anything. Like, hey, clean slate once you get to campus. Show me what you do when you get here. Great, you did great things in high school. You had a high ranking, but can you prove it here? I think that's why you see so many 3-star guys like rise through the ranks sometimes, or 4-star guys, right? Like they haven't hit their ceiling yet. They continue to develop. They continue to put in the work in to get better. And so once you get to campus, that matters more than anything to me.
Yeah, it's a good proxy for traits, right? Like if you say former 5-star, just means he was probably large for his age bracket and twitchy. So it's good to kind of reference there. But really, the best marketing tool is where you get a transfer like 5 years down the line, and they're like former 5-stars, and fans are just like, "Yep," just because he's a former 5-star.
Yep,
excited. Homer, you should probably stream from a darker room. Quentin streams from a pitch dark room. I think it's because he's in cybersecurity. I think he's hacking back there. I think that's what he's doing. So. He likes to stream from a darker area. I like a little bit of natural light when I'm dealing with. Are we still pursuing O linemen? Yes. Rewind back and you'll see. We talked.
Go to Inside Texas and read my last 30 articles.
Yeah, you'll see it. Yes, we are absolutely still after offensive linemen. All right, let's see. Kentucky, like we got 5-star recruit CJ Baxter, but yeah, they did use that as a marketing tool, right? It's like a proxy. So and then congrats to CJ, man. There's no ill will with CJ. That kid did it 100% right. It's just one of those sad realities. But also after we took Jaluk, it feels like Kentucky's got a little bit of a vendetta, dude.
Texas play
because they, of course they signed Bo as well. So it seems like Will Stein over there was like, all right, you take my running back. And he's smart, man. Like he's trying to put people into his program from established good programs, right? Remember year one with Sark, it was like, just take Alabama guys because they're from a good culture. And so I think that's what they're doing over there at Kentucky. So I'm still excited to see the former Longhorns in that world. How do you think the defense would look this year? Man, if we finish it out, it could be one of the most, it could be the most talented defense, man. Like some of these guys are ballers.
Yeah, I said before Uluave went into the portal, but with the expectation that that if they got him, they'd have the most talented roster in football on defense. And so now, let's just trade him out for Biles. They still need that Mike Fit.
Yeah, we do.
I'm going to have to reevaluate all these teams once the dust settles, but I think Texas is probably going to have the most talented defense in the country next year. Obviously Collins speaks for itself, but you've got Lance Jackson, who's going to make a massive impact next year. Some of them are a little young, but Cade and Grayson both have 3-year potential. Obviously, Jelani, getting him back was a major win. I think he's got first-round upside. Derek is going to be a year removed from that injury and hopefully more like the guy we saw pre-injury. Ty Anthony's very talented. You've got a rotation at defensive tackle. Hero Kanu, I didn't even mention him yet. Justice Terry's going to see his role expand, probably play 4-eye a lot more. He's going to wreak a little more havoc. So I think, man, it's probably going to be the most talented defense in the country next year. Now they are going to be first year of the install. So that adds a little bit of variability to it.
With Zena reportedly coming back, I'm excited about that, by the way. Yeah. Is Texas still looking for edges in the portal?
Yeah, they're they wanted one before they thought they were losing Zena. They went after Jaden Woods from Florida. The guy we're watching there is Wendell Gregory from Oklahoma State, originally South Carolina. Pretty highly rated guy, 4-star South Carolina edge. They know what they're doing over there. So the guy's talented, and they want more depth. They'd been looking for a guy behind Colin. I think they would have preferred a little bit more youth, but he's only played 2 years. So he'd have another year after Colin to sort of bridge that gap. But yeah, they're still looking at Gregory. Caleb Herring from Tennessee. I think that was more in line with if they lose Zena, then go for Caleb. So I'm not paying attention to him as much as I am to Wendell Gregory.
Yeah, now you can have too many pass rushers off the edge. Like you think about it, they can mix up so many different fronts, right? You don't want to just settle for just 4 eyes. Everybody think we're gonna have the tight front with 4 eyes, but you still need. If I want a true 4-down line and 2 edges, you still need other guys, and so we can mix and match. So yeah, continue to chase edge guys because you can never have too many.
Hey, bring up that Quentin comment because it is pretty funny in light of what we were just talking about. All right, hey, look,
we've been trained, dude, over decades to speak in this manner.
The reason I said that was because if I say he's from Oklahoma State, you're going to think, oh, baseline talent is like a 3-star because they don't recruit anymore. So I said South Carolina at 4-star to give you an idea of his pedigree. The baseline materials are in place. You can use it for baseline materials. Those baseline materials bore out at Oklahoma State. He actually produced at Oklahoma State. So it's not like he's just a gritty 3-star that Oklahoma State found in the backwaters of the Ozarks. He came in with a real recruiting pedigree, went to a real school that has a rich tradition of producing edges and D linemen. And then he went to Oklahoma State and produced. So it's a good comprehensive story with him, not just some underrated 3-star from Nowheresville.
What head coach would you like to have for the Dolphins and Quinn? So watching Quinn this season, his feet have gotten a lot better, man. He's done a lot of work there. McDaniels was the perfect situation. When you watch the Quinn highlights, the throws were just the throws he made in Texas, right? That intermediate outside was nailing it in screens. You want a really strong system for him to where he can make those throws. So anything kind of Shanahanian, those kind of styles are going to help Quinn. He maximizes he majors in like 3 or 4 throws that he does as a really elite level. So if you can just build the scheme around those like McDaniels did, give him some explosive weapons like he had with Worthy, that's going to be the shot. I don't know about a specific name, but really build a system around that, and then Quinn can shine. All right. Let's see what we got here. How much does Sark care about Arch potentially winning the Heisman? What do y'all think?
Sark has answered this kind of like 100 times. He just says, hey, let's get the team better. The team wins at a high level. Everybody starts winning awards. Everybody gets drafted higher, that sort of thing. So, yeah, he wants it as like a lagging indicator of team success. But it's not like, hey, let's go. Oh, man, if he throws one more touchdown here, it's going to improve his Heisman chances. It's Arch. He already gets a massive bump. Maybe we got a little bit of a hate this year, too, for being Arch.
It's back.
Yeah, the hype is back.
Yeah.
Arch should win the Heisman next year. I thought he was probably the best quarterback in the country, at least at times. He didn't play great against A&M, but at times he was every bit as good as the guys we've seen. He needs to win he needs to win some big games. Obviously he's more talented than Mendoza, who's about to go, number 1 overall. It's just, let's get to the team success. Let's get back to the semifinals and start over from there. And, that's more important. If Texas is looking like a top 4 team going to the playoffs, Arch is probably going to win the Heisman. Who are the contenders? Who are the other contenders?
I would say the hardest part is just being mentioned in those 5 to start the season. And he's already in that position, which is
my favorite to win that.
Is the big aspect. So one thing you said, is Sark going to run up score to help his Heisman? And I thought about this because remember when Sark and Cristobal kind of had their little exchange before the playoffs where Sark was like, I guess I just need to run up score. And then Miami ran up score, and then Cristobal is now in the national championship. The answer is yes, Sark. These people are simple that are evaluating you. You need to run up score. Yeah. And so if I don't care about Arch's Heisman, but I hope Sark does learn that lesson that, yes, running up score helped Miami, and Miami is now in the national championship because they made a run. So it's like I do want to see that switch of like, yes, do run up score. These people are not sophisticated evaluators of football. They just look at, oh, he beat them by 30.
Yeah. With that, though, I think sometimes with so much talent on offense going into this year, it may be times where, like, hey, we're trying to run the clock out, but they're so good they just score, right? Because Arch just has that kind of ability. You got Cam, you got Wingo. Like, it may be times where he called off the dogs, but they're just so good that, hey, we scored. Ain't nothing you can do about it. The other team just couldn't stop us.
All right. We somehow have not explicitly talked about Cam Coleman, which is remarkable. So let's begin that portion because someone's going to ask about the wide receiver rotation. So I watched every rep of Cam through 4 games yesterday. First thing that I noticed was how underutilized he was in Auburn's scheme. So he ran the same 4 routes, and they were so uncreative with him. I saw him run across the field 1 time in 4 games. Everything was fade, come back, quick in. That's all he ran. Sark is going to – so it was if you're a DB, there's only 3 routes, and they're all stemming the same. So just wait till he passes the depth, and then you know his route, right? And so Sark's already going to be able to unlock that way more, move him around, put Cam in the slot 1 time, that kind of stuff. I thought that was really big. His superpower, everybody knows it, his ball tracking in the air. Now, sometimes Cam has a problem leaving his feet a bunch when he doesn't necessarily need to. And I was watching who's the head coach of the Rams? McVay?
Yeah.
one of their number one evaluation points for a wide receiver is, does he stay on the ground? And I think that's a big thing. So Cam will have to learn to catch, because his yards after catch is really, really low. It's like 2.1.
Yeah.
And that's because of the quarterback issues. A lot of time he's leaving the ground because the quarterbacks are just putting it within the zip code of him. But if we can get Cam to just catch the ball on the move, we're really going to unlock him there as well. Get down some of the drop stuff. But man, just his route running for his size is top tier. His hands, not the drop part. I mean, his physical hands, how he catches the ball is elite. Sark, and also, like I said, he was super underutilized. So getting Cam Coleman here with a more creative offense, man, sheesh. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to help him a whole lot more. Show his versatility, what he can do. I know yesterday we was on record talking about if we go empty and we motion him in, now linebacker has to cover him. It's going to be like lights out. It's over. Like there's nothing you can do with so many weapons, right? And so, but like you said, yeah, I think that's the problem. A lot of young receivers, they leave their feet for no reason. Like it's like stop jumping. I know you see the clip of Brian Kelly yelling at Chris Henry when he was at LSU, like stop jumping in the air. Like it's the same thing. So I think that's the issue with all these young receivers or receivers in general, leaving their feet for no reason. But I think Chris Jackson kind of develop him there, get him more refined. Like, man, what else do you need him to do in this offense? Like, can you imagine him on crossers, then Wingo going on a crosser? Yeah. You got Mosley working underneath intermediate. Like, I don't know, man. That's gonna be a fun offense, just drawing up plays.
It's criminal how they used him at Auburn with the quarterback play and just the route tree. It was sickening to watch that tape. You got a Lambo there, and you're going like 30 on a lot of situations. Eric, any victory laps on the Cam Coleman recruitment?
No. I mean, it was stress-free. He had a good process going into it. I think he knew he wanted to go to Texas, and I think he was a little upset that he had to go to all those visits. But that's what you do in this day and age for leverage. It was just, we just kept hearing Texas, and maybe lost a little bit of optimism after the A&M visit, but not really from anything we heard that was, in a real way. It was just, A&M's always really good at, oh, we got them.
Yeah, they're great.
Doing all this stupid stuff on the internet. It's like, well, you never know, but once you find out it's not purely driven by cash, that he's looking at NFL draft slot, like anybody can see that you're going to go play for Arch rather than Marcel Reed if you're considering draft slot. That's why we were fading Alabama. They're going to have a new starting quarterback. The Tech kid, he's not going to Tech anyways, but the Tech kid, it's not all that great. So, I mean, this just makes the most sense. But I'm most excited. The entertainment value of the highlight reel catch is always there, but I'm most interested in the positive feedback loop he creates with the entire offense. Him stretching horizontal or vertically, Wingo horizontally, Mosley over the middle, Arch throwing bombs, Ryan Wingo creating bombs out of a 5-yard throw, running Raleek Brown behind Coleman, taking the defense deep, just creating space for everybody else.
It's all there.
Yeah, it's all there. I mean, somebody on the biggest winner, somebody said on IT was Emmett Mosley. I do think Emmett Mosley, Dalen McCutcheon, whoever gets that slot look is going to have a lot of open space. I think the tight ends are going to have open space. I mean, it's just, it's all there for Sark to dial it up. Now he's got the chance to go with the vertical pass game, vertical run game he always wants to, but also he can still incorporate what worked this year. And some things did work this year, namely Wingo on the screens. Then you get much better at you're much more explosive at running back. So, I mean, it's on paper, this team is already much, much better on offense. They do need a couple more offensive line. We're still getting asked about offensive line. These people just
rewind.
Rewind.
So with Cam, a couple things that I really like too in Missouri. To open the Missouri game, he drops a fade and then he drops like a sit down back to back.
Yeah.
And so you're looking, how's a receiver going to handle that? And he immediately bounces back and has a really good into the game. That was something that I thought was important. I want to see early adversity. He didn't, collapse mentally after that. I thought that was important. And then two things about how he affects defenses. There's a clip I sent around to guys. Georgia's doubling Cam in the red zone. And so they're leaving that slot one-on-one misleveraged. So a touchdown is there for the slot if you want to go it. So if Georgia's doubling Cam in the red zone, that's something that's interesting. Vanderbilt starts the game in basically one high, and Cam is manned up to start the Vanderbilt game for a long period. And this is why Auburn was driving me nuts. touchdowns. There's touchdowns there, like the whole first quarter. Then you can tell that they finally, like, some edict came down from the box of like, hey guys, we have Cam Coleman. And so then they start throwing to Cam a bunch. And now for the rest of the game, Vanderbilt is now in too high. So you see the change that he's forcing on teams. So that even without the catch, he was altering what defense we're having to do. So those are parts of Cam Coleman that you won't even see on the tape, but he is affecting the structure. Or they'll have a single high safety, so it looks like, man, where does that coach? Where does that safety? Where do his hips open up post snap every time?
They're going to open right up to Cam. I'm going to be curious to see what teams do. I think it's going to be the Belichick model. Try to double Cam with your worst corner and then man up with everybody else. So it's going to be important for everybody else to win one-on-one battles because they're going to get them a ton. Yeah. So if the other guys can win their one-on-one battles majority of the time, then the offense is going to be rolling. But they have to prove they can do it though consistently.
That's the big thing. Everybody's hyped up on his individual talent. It's what the defenses have to do. You're going to have there's going to be receivers that are going to be more productive than Cam next year, that are going to maybe even considerably more productive than him next year, but they're not going to affect the game and make things easier for everybody else on the offense.
Yeah. It's the curse it's a Jeremiah Smith curse, right? I hear Ohio State fans, they're turning on Jeremiah Smith. Like, what's the point of being this talented? It's like, y'all don't get it. Like, Carnell Tate's success is directly linked to Jeremiah Smith. That if you become too good, it sucks as a wide receiver because they can take you out, but they can't take everyone out. And so they're dropping, outside linebackers to the flats and underneath him, trying to force that safety help, all that stuff. They're putting a lot of design against Cam. So it's not always about the production. It's what he does for Mosley, McCutcheon.
Here's another small benefit. You've got the blocking situation at tight end is going to be much better. But now if you put Mosley at the slot, he's a terrific blocker. And so that your blocking is going to get, your perimeter blocking is going to improve just because Mosley's going to be blocking from the slot. I'm not saying he's like Jordan Whittington, but he's a good blocker. So that's a lot of just small positives out of this on top of all the obvious major ones.
Yeah. All right, guys, before we keep going, let's hear a quick word from our man, Andre the Lawyer.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the Lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
Sugar Poppy, what's up, dude? Do portal rankings matter more than recruiting rankings now?
I don't think so. I mean, they go hand in hand with the whole roster management. The ranking should be the entire roster. Should rank the roster after every new block, every new high school ranking, after every new high school signing class, every new portal ranking, because you can have a really crappy recruiting class, high school recruiting class, but you did that because you're going strong with the portal. Texas pulled back on I wrote about that this morning, actually. Texas, pulled in the reins on high school recruiting after July. They were going to do that anyway, but then the season revealed how many needs they had for this next portal season. So they're already going to slow down. Stark was directionally already going here. But then once they realized, hey, man, offensive line is way worse than we thought. Running back needs significant upgrades. They said, hey, we're content finishing number 10 in high school recruiting. Fans didn't get it at the time. Every time they took them, we call them the exciting whites. Every time they took the exciting whites, there was 4 of them. Everybody's like, what is going on here? I'm celebrating because I know that those guys aren't costing a lot, and that's more money that they have to spend on the portal. So it's all related. I don't know. Rankings are kind of fall in line with the star ratings. They don't matter all that much. You want to see needs addressed on the roster. Needs can be more immediately addressed on the roster through the portal than through high school, but you have to have those young, talented guys waiting in the wings and developing as well, because obviously you can't go get Colin Simmons on the open market, right? You can't go get Dylan Stewart. You can't go get Jeremiah Smith. Those guys are just not going to be taken away from their current teams. Some positions are a little bit more easier, but you're not, going and getting an offensive tackle is normally very hard. Things might start changing a little bit more in the future. It seems like, players are more open to leaving than ever before. But I don't know, man. It all goes hand in hand. I care more about what the whole roster looks like after each signing period, whether it's portal or whether it's high school. Like I wrote in late November, early December, I said, this is the most important 6 weeks of the entire offseason. What is this roster going to look like, especially since there's no spring portal window?
Yeah. To say that it makes a lot of sense to me. I don't care about the rankings as much when it comes to portal rankings or high school rankings for that matter, because it's all about what you do on the field. We saw former guys do well at their schools come here, Alabama players, and then it's like, what did you do once you got to Texas? So that matters more to me. What does the whole roster construction look like, and where does everybody fit? How is this team going to go going into next year on offense, defense, and special teams? So I think if you hit on everything that you need, that's more important to me than what a guy's rank.
Scheme fit too, right? You might be a 5-star in this scheme, but you're a 3-star in another too. Right. So it's like fit. The scheme has to match what we saw in your traits. So that's a big factor too. Where's Michael Terry going to play?
Golly, man, I'm going to just drive to Austin.
Somewhere in the running back room, man. We got to figure it out.
Every year we've got somebody that just has the intrigue for whatever reason.
Yeah, Michael Terry's one of them.
Yeah, Michael Terry. I don't know. We talked about running back earlier. When I asked about, hey, what's going to happen with Clark leaving, and I was told, well, they might go portal, or they'd like James Simon or Derek Cooper. I mean, that's probably a sign that maybe Michael Terry isn't somebody that they think is going to have a huge role at running back this year. I don't know. Jabbar Jaluk just got a good look at him. We'll see what happens. I'll know before spring ball, but right now they're worried about getting the bodies in that they need, that they know are going to make an impact. I don't know how many times I said it during Michael Terry's recruitment. This is not going to be an early impact player because he doesn't really have a position. You can be a great athlete, but you've got to marry the skill to whatever position you're at. And to marry skill to the position, you have to be there and spend some time. You need time to be developed there. He's never been developed at any one position for a lengthy period of time. Yeah. And it didn't happen this year. He moved from wide receiver to running back. So I don't have huge expectations until he's starting to produce consistently in practice. And there's opportunity ahead of him.
If we have an extra wide receiver spot, Eric, I do think you mentioned something about wide receiver in these latest notes.
Speaking of YouTube favorite, Jonte Cook, amazing.
Yeah, whenever Jonte went in the portal, I was like, boys, we got our wide receiver. So good joke, AJ. I made the same. But anything going on there potentially? Could you take a cheaper guy and see what happens?
They're still waiting to see what will materialize. A lot of people are trying to associate Texas with Trey Richardson from Vanderbilt earlier in the portal window. That was just more of like, hey, let's see, keeping options open. I'm not ruling out. You never know what's going to enter the portal. It could be something interesting that they didn't expect 3 days ago. You just never know how the portal is going to operate. Right now, I think they're content going into the season with what they have, and they should be. They've got a number of they got inside, outside depth. They've got guys that can move around. They got difference makers. They've got younger guys that are ready to take the next step up. And Khalid Lockett and Dalen McCutcheon. You've got Jermaine Bishop, who's going to play next year. They love Jermaine Bishop. So they don't have to do anything right now. They're good, but who knows?
Yeah. So no 5 stars on Indiana roster. Let's talk this new method, because I think some of it is really valid, but also I think we're also very recency biased, because remember last year was Ohio State who did have 5 stars on the roster,
right?
And then Indiana does. So now Indiana is the new model. Instead of just taking kind of lessons from everybody, instead of just trying to completely copy their model, Texas is never going to be in a situation where they don't take 5 stars. It's not going to be a thing. But also Indiana is a newer program with Cignetti. He didn't have the access to 5 stars. They only have a few recruiting classes. They might take a 5-star now if they win the damn national championship. I don't think Cignetti says no 5 stars. He'll take one if it fits. But I do want to talk about, I've said on the board, the idea of traits versus production in the portal for shorter time horizon players. So if they're just coming for a year, right, I want to see production, because they should have had 2-3 years. They should have learned a system. Now, if we're talking about a high school recruit, I'm looking at traits because I'm projecting years down the road. But you guys are personnel guys. You guys are recruiting guys. This is your whole world. What do you think of that statement I made? Am I wrong in any ways? Do you think that's a new paradigm? What's up?
Look, you listen to Signetti. I think he gave an interview about what he looks for in guys as far as traits, right? So coming out of high school, ankle bend, flexibility, can you run, can you catch, can you do all the proper things that I like, right? You can look at now, he's taking high four-star guys now that are committing to him right now from high school, right? And so, of course, he'll take him if he can get him. Like a lot of guys he's offered end up getting bigger offers, just not going to him, right? So he's always offered guys. He's good at evaluating talent. He has a system in place. Obviously, he has a grading system in place that works for him and his staff. All the transfer portal guys he got from JMU, I think it was a number like 16 kids. Like they played in that system, so they know it, right? And so he recruited them to JMU for the most part. Then they transferred to Indiana with him because you needed to fill out that roster. So those guys know the system. Fortunately enough, they're just good players on top of that, right? And so you mix that in with some of the guys Indiana already had. That model works for him. It's you can't adapt to everybody else's model, like you said. You have to have your own system in place. Don't go Mac Brown and say, well, I'm going away from the spread. I'm going to go power football because Alabama ran down our throat in the championship. Like, no, that's not your style. Garrett Gilbert deserves to be in the spread. So it's the same thing. Don't try to adapt to somebody else's scheme. I always say, be yourself. All right, what got you here? Do that. Don't try to adapt to everybody else's model. You can take bits and pieces, but have your own system in place, your own grading system in place on how you want to recruit and evaluate kids. Because at the end of the day, it's your system that you're recruiting them to, not Indiana's.
I mean, nobody's talking about how fortunate he is with the timing of the revenue share and all these different things. He got to a roster that didn't have high retention costs, so he can go pretty hardcore on imports, bringing in these guys. So no 5 stars on Indiana roster, no, but they've got a guy that was a proven starter at Cal that's about to go number 1 overall in their quarterback. So he's got a really good eye for evaluation, really good. He matches the players fit to the scheme, very good at that. But he caught lightning in a ball, and he's a fantastic coach. That's just plain as day. He's the best coach in the country. It's not even close right now. But the timing is great that he can go harder on the portal because they're not spending to keep what was already there. The James Madison guys not costing you anything. So he is a buyer. It's not all money ball with him. He's got some money bag mixed in with it as well. Josh Hoover was not cheap. They're adding guys. He got an edge the other day. Is good. Nick Marsh from Michigan State, that wasn't cheap. He's going to end up with a similar roster to everybody else because it's going to be too seductive to turn down those high school recruits.
Yeah. So I think the lesson is, look, do really good evaluation, look at portal, but I don't think it's just become Signetti because you're not Signetti. It's not just his strategy there, man. It is he's dealing with some of this is being under-resourced. He was forced to develop this strategy. But don't just switch up. Texas is going to take 5 stars, and you saw Texas learn from that. I don't think they're going to take 7 5-stars now if they don't think they're going to start
Texas.
Next year.
We covered it. We covered it all offseason. An article I wrote about this morning covers it again. Is that Sark was already headed in this direction? Take the 5 stars that are going to play and cut in line, and then take the cheaper guys that are going to wait their turn. Sark was already doing that, and Sark. Sark told the team we're headed to more of a professionalized roster. There's not going to be any dead weight. You can't have dead cap space. That is something that had bothered them for a while. There was just really no way to figure it out and still not have blind spots. You have to have dead weight at some positions because you have to develop them. Because you can't go get. It's harder to go get a right tackle. So Brandon Baker was not cheap coming out of high school, but he still had to sit. He wasn't ready to play. Maybe they're going to go a little bit more plug and play on the O-line. Sark has a very good handle on this. I think he already had a handle on it. This past summer, nobody expected the amount of chaos this year that came with everybody else having the house revenue. I think that was a little bit of a surprise that everybody's now is a buyer. It was previously only the blue bloods were buyers. Everybody else was trying to hold on to whatever talent they had. Yeah. Now everybody has to hold on to their talent because lesser schools have money to spend as well. We have not found equilibrium in this new age. It's gonna come, but Texas is always going to be in an advantageous position. Very few schools are set up to succeed like Texas. It's all going to come down to whether or not they can get it done on the field because the talent's going to be there even this year.
Well, and also just like the portal and all that stuff matters for Sinead. He's an incredible coach. They execute at an insane level. So it's like, look, any coach can take this strategy. It doesn't mean you get Signetti results.
Right.
What the process and what he's doing and how well these players are playing is really the key differentiator, not just the portal strategy. But just be wary of trying to take everyone's model as soon as they win a national championship. Because when Michigan won, it was like, well, now you got to run the ball and play defense. Ohio State wins. It's like, well, you need Jeremiah Smith and you need and then now Cignetti. Now you need this portal strategy. You just need good players coached well.
One thing that's universal is you need experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with Texas grabs, man, I mean, you're getting Cam Coleman, you're getting Smothers, you're getting Relique, who's an older player, you're getting Biles, who has years starting and making plays. So it's not like Texas is not doing that. So that's a big thing. Any final things, guys, before we get out of here? Any final comments, guys, in the chat you want answered? If you don't get them in quick, I won't see them quick. And then we'll head on out of here.
No, I've got my I had my ringer off, so I'm starting to get some texts. I got some stuff I need to track down.
There it is.
That's going to be fun, man. You guys should go over to Inside Texas, and then you'll know what Eric knows. 50% off Ultimate Fan Bundle, Inside Texas, On3 and Rivals. They've merged into this Ultimate Fan Bundle. We'd love to see you over there. It's a lot of fun on the board. Now it's fun on the board. It was a tough week prior to that. So we will figure it out. We're getting some O-lines. Yeah. And if you guys are wondering if we're going after offensive linemen, we are. Just to leave you guys with that. Everyone have an absolutely awesome day. This was IT Live, and it was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Stay tuned in for the rest of the day, guys. We got some good content coming your way later.